If you're a designer looking to build a design portfolio or streamline your client projects, Lovable might just be the AI magic you've been waiting for. Now with this tool, you can literally just write a little design and code for you. So imagine skipping all those repetitive tasks and letting AI do all of the heavy lifting for you. Now this sounds too good to be true, right? Well, let's see if it really works as promised. And just before we get started, I want to remind you that I'm leaving a free training on how to become a top designer in 2025. So check the link in the description. And now without further ado, let's get started. So we're here on lovable.dev and you can essentially try it for free. So just create an account and it's going to be quite simple, but we're going to essentially build this design portfolio website with a prompt which is going to leverage some design projects which I already created. And also one important thing is to give it a style, because otherwise it's very likely that you're not going to get the results that you want. So let's get started, and I'm going to write I want to create a design portfolio website which showcases my UI UX and web design work for clients. I am going to attach some past client work and I want to maintain a light theme around the lines of my project's visual aesthetics. And this is going to be a good base. So I'm going to go on Dribble on my old account and I'm going to look for some of the websites that I did for clients. And this is going to kind of like set up the theme. So I'm going to go by popular. Haven't really used this Dribble account in ages. Used to use it quite a bit many years ago, especially when I was freelancing, and it was actually a really nice place to find work. Now I heard things have changed, but it's definitely one of those pillars in the design industry. So I'm simply going to start adding some images from past clients, and it should be pretty straightforward. So overall, you can see that the experience is not too dissimilar from the ones that we're used to with ChatGPT and other AI tools. So it's very conversational overall, and yeah, I'm simply going to I'm going to leave the attachments, these URLs, and I'm going to simply see what it comes up with. So yeah, let's see, and I'm going to wait a bit. So as you can see, the moment that it's working on a project, you're also going to have notes on the left-hand side in order to understand what is the logic that Lovable is going through as it's creating the outcome for you. So this is actually quite useful, because you're going to be able to understand the behind the scenes and the standpoint that by which it's creating the visuals and the outcome essentially. So you can actually tweak it. So if anything over here doesn't feel right, you can actually leverage it in order to refine the prompt and simply make it more efficient and better. Meantime that it's doing its work, you can see that here you can rename the project very easily. So as you can see, simply click on rename. So just a few basics. Over here you can see the credits and you can also change the appearance if you want the dark version or if you want the light, you can do it from here. You're also going to have the view history. So as you're going to work on the project, this is going to be like the history of the actual project itself. You can hide the sidebar and reopen it from here. Over here you can refresh the page and you can click to basically open it up in another tab. So this is going to be the actual preview. And here we're going to find the mobile preview in just a moment as it's building up. And also some other elements, code viewer. This is going to be quite cool because you're going to be able to see all the code behind the scenes. And You can also manage the Supabase as well as sync it to your GitHub projects and invite collaborators and publish your project. So just a heads up on some of the things that are available as it's building this up. Here we go. We are starting to see the design portfolio come to life. So as you can see, we have this nice top menu bar or header section, which is going to have this glass UI effect. And over here, pretty straightforward, creating digital experiences that inspire and innovate. So headline and then sub-headline. I'm a UI, UX, and web designer focused on creative, intuitive, user-centered digital experiences. Okay, this is pretty cool. View my work, get in touch. This so far is looking solid. Maybe not the best aesthetics. We definitely have work on that front, but it's a good base to start with. So featured project. So this is going to be the main case study. I like the direction by which it's going. And over here we have all of the different featured projects. So quite nice as a start. And overall, it's yeah, it's heading in the right direction. Again, not the most beautiful visuals. As designers, we need to be very picky on that front, but it's definitely a good base and a good start. So what you can do here is now start to talk with it, and maybe one thing that we're going to do is we're going to go on Dribble and we're going to find some cool visuals. Maybe this one is actually quite nice. The issue is that it's a video. So basically, I'm trying to sample some cool visuals for the header so that I can reference it too when it comes to the styling. I think this one is looking quite nice, but I'm not sure that they have um, a image. So I could actually go ahead and try and make it work like that. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this because I really like the visual and it's somewhat around the lines of the same color palette that we're working on. So I'm going to basically upload this image and I'm going to ask it, can you improve the visual design to make it more curated and visually appealing around the visual style of this sample? Use soft gradients and keep a light theme overall, but more curated or more, yeah, maybe curated is the right word. So let's go ahead and let's see what it comes up with. Now these are the type of prompts which are more generic. So you could actually get a good result or you couldn't. When it comes to prompting, there's essentially two type of prompts in my mind when it comes to like the prompts bucket from a macro high level view. These are the more generic ones. Then there's going to be the very specific ones, such as uh, add a call to action, which exactly needs to be like this, or maybe like curate the logo to make it look exactly like that. So when it comes to the more broad ones, you can give it a try. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But the more specific you can be overall, the easier it's going to be to get the results that you want. So it's just a matter of freestyling really and trying things. There isn't really a right or wrong approach to prompting. I think that a lot of people overcomplicate it. When at the end of the day, it's just about understanding those core principles, and once you have some practice with these AI tools, it's going to come more natural, and of course, it's going to become easier and easier for the AI tool to understand you based on the data that you feed over time. So it's pretty much the same principles that you're used to with ChatGPT. So let's see what Lovable comes up with in this new iteration. As you can see, now we have a different vibe to it. So again, for the most part, it kept the feature projects the same, but these other areas are going to be definitely better. I noticed that it used the gradient in the logo. So again, probably we could ask it to use a different background over here. So can you add a gradient background that is still on the light side for the top hero section, like in this example? And I'm going to go ahead and just wait for it to come back to the original. And basically, I'm going to give it an example of the initial stage, which was that gradient background. So, okay, we're at the bottom of the page. Let's just wait for it to redefine. And also, I really like these icons. So, yeah, let's just leave it at that, and maybe add some subtle um, iconography or visuals in the background, like, okay, like in this example. I'm repeating myself, but I just want to be sure that the AI is actually capturing the uh, what we want to communicate, essentially. So sometimes, even if it's not the best way to phrase things, it's easier to just phrase it in a way which is not going to leave any room for miscommunication, essentially. So let's see what it comes up with. You can see now we are heading towards an even better direction. So you can see how it's just a matter of insisting when it comes to certain elements. And we're going to check also the mobile version. So yeah, overall, this is looking, it's starting to look pretty nice. We have these issues here. The images should be working more like this one for shallow. But yeah, overall, also the mobile version, which we hadn't looked at before, it's starting to look okay. One of the things that I wanted to update here is definitely to have some sort of nice visuals for this one. So could you add in the featured project a image like this one to make it more visual? You can stylize it, remove the background, or arrange it as you see fit to make it look cool. And what we're gonna do now is I'm going to go back in my profile, and I'm quite sure that I added some projects for Zeitbase. So this one right here we could leverage. There was another one, but yeah, probably let's just utilize this one here, which is good enough as an image. And I'm probably going to copy the more high definition one, and I'm going to add it right here. Or actually, there is a image upload error. Let's see if this time is going to work. So I'm seeing that it's loading. So yeah, sometimes just happens. And by the way, you can also select to edit. So basically this element is going to enable you to select an element so that you can give it specific nuanced comments and feedback. So you don't need to reference manually uh, change the call to action at the very bottom of this page and do it like that. So this is actually quite useful, and it's going to make editing specific elements of the landing page very, very easy to work on. So let's see how it's going to rearrange the feature project. We're not giving it specific instructions, so again, we're going to go a bit more broad here, so let's see how that works. As you can see now, it changed this section. So this part is actually quite interesting to some degree. Maybe it's something that could spark the idea of having a card, maybe going it full width over here for full height. Um, there's definitely like some improvement. I'm not too big of a fan of this pulsing card. As you can see now, it changed this section. So this part is actually quite interesting to some degree. Maybe it's something that could spark the idea of having a card, maybe going it full width over here for full height. Um, there's definitely like some improvement. I'm not too big of a fan of this pulsing card with this animation, but it's definitely something that could be interesting to keep in mind. So as you can see, overall, it's just a matter of insisting and really working your way through this. So hope this tutorial was useful. I think by now you totally understand how this is heading towards and looking. So we're going to continue in the very next video. And again, if you want to get started in design and specifically product design and UI UX